So I'm making this video because I want the world to hear, as well as the lesson, the message. Be careful who you trust, because I met some youngsters that were between 20 and 25 in the month that I was waiting for my unemployment. I was walking down the street pissed, left my car next to my friend's house. I walked to this pad with a certain tagging crew, and they were cool at first. They offered me beer. They were like, "You park your car in front of my pad, don't trip." I brought my 2012 Hyundai Genesis in front of the pad, showed them appreciation, passing on each other's wax pens, drinking with them. The second time around, they hit me up. I came with a bunch of beer and bottles and was showing respect. And some of them were right off the bat already showing they were hating, jealous. I didn't mind that. I let homeboy know who stole one of my bottles and how some of them I don't trust. He said he checked his cousin, he rushed them. That was their business. You know, you disrespect someone you introduce to people. Of course, they handle it their way. But I try to be a mentor in the sense that I'm 31, and all the shit you guys go through, I'm like, you don't need to. As far as educating, I can teach you guys new words to, fix up your vocabulary and be a lot more useful in the world rather than sounding like ghetto punks and all that. Well, it just sucks I got my ass beat, because the third time I hung out with them, I didn't realize that they were setting me up. And so July 21st, they did enough to act like they were cool, but at the end of the night, at a bonfire pit, Mission Valley, they jumped me. 7 dudes trying to fight me, and none of them could break bones, disrupt your spleen, anything like that. That's my victory, where I could laugh at them. But the story is very serious because of how strong I am. Somebody else, if they were in my shoes, they could have been beaten to death. So you see some of these marks, bruises, scars. You see my knee right here? Yeah, it looks like they threw me out of a car, but... And what's funny, I know this is not part of the point, but when they're all jumping me and hitting me and kicking me, it was going on for a while. I said, these guys are weak. I'm gonna go to sleep. I was too drunk. When they swung on me and I swung back, I saw how slow I was where the guy dodged it, and I said, I'm too drunk. So I did my MMA skills and I covered up. They wailed on me, and the fact that I was so drunk, I was just like, I'm gonna go to sleep. They're too weak. I woke up in an ambulance, face all bloody, a couple body parts bloody just from all these scratches and wounds. And I didn't press charges on any of them because I'm not a snitch. Even though I'm older, I don't need no paperwork. I don't need anybody to be looking at me like there's paperwork, because I know that even if I had a DV with the women later and she made up shit and I got, thrown in jail, that somebody would try to say, hey, he has paperwork. So even though they assault, battery, rob, and grand theft, I'm out here alive, strong as fuck, still able to stand. And as for these punks, I know karma's a bitch. Everything I've done in my past, which wasn't towards people, I know I had to pay for it. Karma hits you hard, and the way that I'm shining now, I'm super happy that a lot of people can see how bright I am, that I have a big heart. Second time I hung out with them, I was too drunk. But because one youngster was drinking with us, it's from the gang right there, he's talking about guns, and then next I was talking about basketball. They saw my brand new basketball in my trunk. They were saying they used to be really good at basketball. And even though I'm on the streets, I said, hey, I'm going to buy you guys a basketball court so you guys are less tagging, less gangbanging. They all jumped, all happy. I guess I made myself a target like a dumbass. Even though I live on the streets, I still have a big heart where I wanted everybody to be able to succeed in life. And the only way to do that is to stay away from trouble, right? Well, third time coming around, a lot of shit happened that night. People trying to disrespect me. People trying to tell me to shut up, embarrass me. I stood up for myself, and that's when it popped off. And it's good that I stayed down, because me having my knife in my pocket, if I was to pull it out and one of them saw that, they could either try to take it away, or they could have busted out their knives if they had any. And I probably wouldn't be here today. The biggest thing that hurts about that is my cousin's father, rest in peace, Joe Cruz. He was from 35th Street Market, where these taggers are hanging out, where they live. That was probably my only one connection to make sure that we stood it up to go toe-to-toe, one-on-one, where I knocked them over like bowling pinballs. Other than that, I'm a oner by myself, and I don't need to have backup in the sense that we'd actually just doom ourselves when we decide to play with fire. Because these punks, they're still playing with fire everywhere. And one thing that I acknowledge, being observant before I decided to let my guard down, drink with them, hang out, is when we picked up one of his friends who was a youngster and was all crybaby about fourth waiver and don't drive too fast, is that they done enough dirt thinking that they put in work that they can't even come out of their homes or walk around the neighborhoods. They always have to make sure their rides are out in front. So when I was hanging out with one buddy, who I thought was a buddy, and his younger cousin, and we went to go pick up his friend, I noticed that you guys don't ever leave your homes or stand outside unless your car is waiting for you. So knowing that, it gives me a brighter head to not even worry about getting revenge. Me being by myself, going through so many traumas, I guess I should be that crazy. Kind of like you know, that one dude, the Monster, or Tukey Williams, you know? But I'm not. In this day and age, you can't get away with a lot of things. You know, they have sonic wave things for bullets and accuracy of where gunshots came from. All of this stuff that I know from forensics, as well as my science, as well as reality and what is reality on the spirituality, but people don't know about, I know a lot about. And so that makes not only my heart big, but my mind sharp. And so the fact that I know that I have nothing bad coming to me from this, I'm blessed. The fact that I could laugh at these dudes, 7 dudes from SR, they couldn't even rupture a spleen or nothing. That's really embarrassing for them. Anyways, I'm not going to keep saying shit about them, because just saying it once, you guys can tell, damn, those are some lames. I don't know about the older homies from SR. I don't need to know. Perhaps they're going to take their you know, the back of their little homies, even though the little homies aren't shit. A lot of hoods and tagging crews, especially me growing back up in the day, the younger generations are usually weak compared to the older generations. But then again, who knows, maybe everyone from SR, if they're still in that tagging crew, will they take offense to this? I don't care. SR is technically my enemy, but I ain't gonna go look for them now. I'm just gonna let them be, because shit, them being 20 to 25, them not being able to come out of their homes unless they're deep or with cars waiting, I already know you guys won't make it out of Southeast. Me coming from South Bay, me living in Southeast for a bit, I just looked at youngsters like little brothers and always wanted to mentor and tell them what's up. So they got me for some of my property, $2,000, $3,000 worth of material from my car, which I was living in. That don't mean shit. The fact that I'm this bright and people like me, I'll make that money quick in a few months and replace everything that I need to. But I want to shout out to my old teacher from high school in the art class. You guys remember Miss Nash? You guys remember who took over her class when she retired? That guy right there, I saw him at the beach, not saying which one, but he started looking out for me, saying, hey, all my students are my kids in a certain sense. So I got lots of love for you, Victor. He offered me a parking spot to sleep. Just that way he kept an eye on me from his home with all his kids that are slightly younger than me in their 20s. And, he really took into that, knowing that I had some traumas. And I let them know about what I went through as a kid. So when I seen him at the beach, he already knew, like, how are you doing, Now that I see you, I remember everything. I got to worry about you. How are you? That I knew the streets as far as people respecting each other, people not being able to do shit because, the consequences and how they're going to suffer. Well, shit. Third time I hung out with this group, they set me up. And I was scared only for the fact that if they jacked me for my home and all the things that I had in my car and not being able to replace my identity, not being able to replace my storage key where I have a lot more fancy clothes at, or my big ass 50-inch TV, I was feeling a little bit vulnerable to go take them out or take myself out while I try to take them out. But a huge light. You see this sunlight? That's not just the sun. My aura is peaking because of how I'm going to let this go. All that fancy stuff that I used to think I needed, that since I didn't have, it held me back from having women jocking. I see now that none of that is really important. The fact that they try to throw their cousin at me to talk to, and then they try to act like I was disrespecting talking to her. I never said anything disrespectful to her. But the fact that everyone else kept trying to shut me up at the end of the night, acting like I can't have a conversation with the next guy over there that's offering me all the firewood from his truck for our fire. The fact that I was grabbing all the firewood from his truck and they were telling me, no, leave it. Like, they don't trust nobody or they don't like to like anybody. They're very jealous of my social skills. A fucking Chino that was at the beach, which sounds a little bad, but him and his white boy friends earlier that day were introducing themselves. And because this white boy let everyone know in a certain sense, hey, I'm stupid, I don't speak Spanish. His words were, I don't speak Mexican, my bad. One of these youngsters tripped, ready to just bomb on him, act like, oh, I'm going to show everyone I'm tough. I stopped that. And I think that's what really set them off. Like, let's jump this fool, let's set him up, let's take his shit. But my reason for stopping that was to keep them out of trouble and hoping that I networked because that dude was a producer. Being a rapper, singer, and being by myself my whole life, it's been really hard, but I've never really stressed about any of that criminal life because as big as I am, I know what I can do, but never decided to do it. To stay on topic, I was jumped. Woke up in the hospital. My car missing. If it wasn't for my teacher from high school that took over Miss Nash's class, which people that went to Mar Vista, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. If it wasn't for him, I'd really be feeling lost right now. Scared and vulnerable to be that I don't like. A fucking monster. I'm really glad that God has showed me that there are people that care about you and that they'll do anything for you to make sure that you get on your feet. And that is what I'm priding myself on today. So instead of going back to that neighborhood, guns blazing with ghost guns, or even bone arrows, deciding to buy a fucking Big Five, so many different things I could think of. But I'd rather put that in my movies later on, just for, fun stuff like Braveheart and shit, Italian Job, all that type of shit that I think of. I'd rather use that to make money. See, that's the one thing that these dumbasses didn't realize. Them trying to follow certain codes of being taggers or whatever they were. They don't know how to network. I'll tell you, who's smart that are in the game, that are on the street, are hustlers. Because even if somebody was to burn you, they know they have to take the loss to keep making money, to keep hustling. Whether they have kids or not, they know they have to hustle. So anybody that has hustled on the streets that take a loss instead of trying to get revenge, I respect you because you know what you're doing. You're a man about your money. As for me, I'm going to keep it pushing 100. I have certain friends they really wanted to go to their address. Were telling me not to give them their address. And I said, I'm not going to. So, as far as that goes, I'm keeping people safe so they don't have to put in work and show that they got my back because it bothered them so much that this happened to me. I'm making sure that we all live a brighter tomorrow while these lame ass fools reap what they sow. And being in the care of so many places now where I realize I could get a lot of help. I mean, living in my car, staying to myself, isolated, it wasn't smart because I didn't know what resources there were to help me get on my feet. My car just got recovered. This teacher that was from high school, he's going to put down money to get my car out of the tow yard, and that means a lot to me. Me not getting my unemployment because it's so backed up for a month, I'm owed a grip of money where I'll pay them back right away. I just need to make sure that they start giving my payments back. And as for work, I'm about to start a job this Tuesday. And so, the bruises will heal, the aches will be gone, and I'll be on my feet soon. In between homeless and having a place to stay because of these shelters. But I learned my lesson. Not the last lesson, but the biggest one of trusting anybody, thinking the streets are the streets and anybody can be family with loyalty. So this is a big lesson for everybody who hasn't learned. Youngsters, make sure that you keep to yourself in many different parts of town and only keep to yourself and to those that are family and that you've known for the longest. Don't trust new faces. A lot of new faces today. I won't say his real name, but his punk ass name was Sir. And the fact that he befriended me just to see what I got, it just showed what kind of level he's on and how long he'll live for his own karmas. I'm gonna back off and leave them all alone. Even though I could run up and take out a few just with my bare hands. It's just, I didn't get taught MMA to take advantage of the streets. I didn't get taught MMA to take all these dudes out or risk my life. I got taught MMA not only for initial takedown, grappling, submission, or to be defensive. I learned it for the discipline that it taught me as well. So I'm in between Navy, Army, or military, Marines, picking those resources. But seeing how bright I am with many different people, I might be a career advisor or something soon, because all of the traumas I've been through and the way that I see life, a lot of people want me to get into those fields to help out others. And I did try to do it on the streets, but on the streets you can't do it. So as big and strong as I am, I think if I continue to care about the world like I do, I'll start teaching from safe distances, places public, places where I don't have to worry about taking on so many dudes and snapping someone's neck or, pulling out a knife to defend myself. It's really sad that these dudes gave themselves a bad name and title. And since I'm not saying no real names or addresses or anything, I'm not snitching and I never will. But the fact that I threw out those street names, you guys can see what kind of lame ass punk losers they are and how they'll never amount to anything. So anyways, this is Nobody, HP, Higher Purpose. Follow me as the Osborne Kid on SoundCloud. And you see these lumps and scars? They'll heal. I'll be good. Friends, one love, stay up.